define exploitation in Marx framework? How is exploitation in Marx sense made sense to make operate consistently with the formal liberal freedom under capitalism? That's one. Second one is more dangerous. What does Antonio Gramsci mean by hegemony? Is Hindutva hegemony or counter-hegemony? Discuss. Is Hindutva hegemony or counter-hegemony? And for this purpose, the poor girl or boy must go through Antonio Gramsci's present direction, where he has coined the word or coined the ideology or the particular this tattva of hegemony. Why this Italian Communist Party founder who was jailed in Mussolini's jail wrote so. All these aspects must go into this tender mind of 21, 22-year-old boy or girl. They have to write about whether it is this hegemony, Hindutva is hegemony or counter-hegemony. I don't think that our students have got that education to say that this particular term Hindutva cannot be discussed in comparison with Antonio Gramsci's hegemony. The presumption itself is wrong. They will only try to do whether it is hegemony or anti-hegemony. It is a win-win situation for them and a lose-lose situation for Bharatiya culture, I think. That's it. Another example I would like to say, whether cultural Marxism is still active or not. You please think, IIT Mumbai has suggested the students to write about Antonio Gramsci. I am not talking about Marx exploitative theory or anything. But Antonio Gramsci is to be discussed. You know, Antonio Gramsci's position in this cultural Marxism as a whole. Again, recently, this also, we have to think about it, especially as an intellectual group, we have to think about this. Recently, I have got another opportunity to go through a test book, a framework for a test book to be made on the basis of NEP. And not to criticize anyone, but a draft test book framed on the basis of NEP. It was for 7th and 8th standard students. Topic is social science. And in one chapter, it is beginning with this comment, and the title it is Discrimination and Social Injustice. It's good. First sentence itself, it starts with this. Family is the place where the family, quote unquote, family is the place in which discrimination and social injustice begins. Samajik अन्याय और विभेद परिवार से शुरू होता है. परिवार and उतना तो बता है तो ठीक था. It would have been better there. No. Again, this particular textbook maker, don't forget, prepared on the basis of the NEP, the most ornamented NEP. The person is suggesting the students of 12 years, 13 years, boys and girls, to watch their family closely, whether discrimination is starting there or not, whether your Pitaji is discriminating you, whether your mother is doing social injustice on the basis of the gender, if she is always girl, but in the recent time she may not be she can be it also. That's the situation going on the basis of the cultural Marxism. So she or he has to watch whether my father or mother or the elder brother is doing injustice on me, discriminating me, whether the middle piece of the fish is being given to the brother and the tail piece or the head piece is being given. यहाँ बैठे हुए लोग मछली खाने वाले हैं तो इसका प्रॉब्लम आपको समझ में आ जाते हैं. So to whom it is being told? 12-13 years formative period. What is the main point of contention? Family. Why it is so? Family is the place where social discrimination and injustice is being started. So again, think whether this topic is relevant or not. So here in this book, Niranjan is discussing about all these things. More intellectually, I am not talking, it is not a narrative type of construction, it is not. It is a bit academic study of this cultural Marxism or the neo-left, academic left. Many of you must have heard about the name Yuri Bezmenov. Yuri Bezmenov is a Soviet information service agent. You can say so. Okay. RIA Novosti. RIA Novosti is a domestic news agency started during Stalin's time in 1941. Its counterpart you must have learned in 1984. George Orwell discussed about Newspeak. George Orwell discussed about the Ministry of Truth. George Orwell discussed about the thought crime, thought police, everything. That dystopian novel is discussing about all this. Big Brother, watching everyone, surveillance, suppression, everything. He is discussing about the Communist Party's regime in Russia. Actually, there it's a particular department known as the cabinet, known as Truth Department. What is truth is being decided by the ministry, and ministry will decide what is truth. And to implement it, there is an agency known as Newspeak. There, Newspeak. Newspeak is used to abbreviate things. So, words. So this Novosti is actually this Newspeak. Novosti means the whole Russia is being watched. How things are being discussed, whether people are talking against the government, communism ke khilaf batate hai kya, how the whole world is thinking about that. So this Bezmenov was sent to Bharat during that period as an agent or a representative of Novosti. Novosti is a news agency. But actually what he was doing some worthy activity for communist Russia. Later on he defected from communist Russia's point, and he wrote a book also, how the communism is intervening into the activities of the independent democratic nations and everything. One of his quotation I would make too. It has been quoted here also in the book also. The highest task of warfare is not to fight at all, but to subvert anything of value in the country of your enemy until such time that the perception of reality of your enemy is screwed up to such an extent that he does not perceive you as an enemy. You can take your enemy without a single shot being fired. So, the perception regarding the enemy will be changed through mind game. That is Bezmenov, and he एक प्रकार से बता रहे, confessing that I was doing, and I have been deployed for that. So what Orwell wrote in the Newspeak in 1949 in his book 1984, it is clearly mentioned by Bezmenov. How it is an ideological warfare to break the mind of a nation. राष्ट्र के मन को तोड़ना, but not by bombs or bullets. Through distorting the culture, the prevailing culture of that nation, confuse the people with their values. What all great traditional values, customary practices is being discussed in that nation, confuse kar, and then that society will destroy itself from within. That is their idea, and this is the central or the fundamental principle of cultural studies or cultural Marxism. That with all proper examples it has been discussed here. For that purpose, bit Marxism is also described. explained in this book. Some basics of Marxism. Why a new version has been introduced? What was the reason behind that? It was all because of the failure of the country, the classical Marxism. Classical Marxism has failed. Is it a very good prayoga? Classical Marxism. It is a. I think it is a sort of Marxism. है तो class नहीं होगा, class है तो Marxist हो नहीं सकते. Class यानी वर्ग नहीं करते ये class. So, what were the promises of the Marxist Party? Why we are saying that it failed? First promise was the society will be transformed into a classless society. No varga will be there. And again Karl Marx said that no private property, because private property is the main source of all sin. The greatest sin is the private property. That's why Marx said that. See, again I would like to say, to remind you what I have given in the first, my example, second example, that family is the source of all these type of things. It has been explained by Karl Marx in his theories. He said that family is a private property. My wife, my children, my property. That is the beginning of the exploitation. So for my wife, I will exploit other families. So exploitation begins from this private property mentality. So many of you may think that is this much simplification is a bit cruel, but that's it. Marxism is that simple. You may not think that it is very complex. It is too simple. What was their greatest thought of economic thought? Each according to their capacity and to each according to their needs. It's not simple. Each according to their capacity. Every person should work according to their capacity. Yes, and ready. And to each according to their demand. उनको कितना चाहिए उतना सरकार देना चाहिए. आपको कितना कर सकते हो उतना तो करो. सबको अट्रैक्शन मिलेगा. Is it an economic policy? Will any nation survive through this? So they said that no private property will be there. Communism if आ गया है. Collective ownership of means of production. Everywhere collective ownership will be there. And to support, he has made some theories, dialectical materialism, and scientific, historical, scientific nature, labor theory, and all those things. And the whole history is of class struggles. And he promised the equality for everybody. And what was the result? Delivered dictatorship. Told about equality and delivered dictatorship. And collapse of society. Millions perished under Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, Ceausescu and all. So in effect, again मैं थोड़ा सा बताऊंगा क्योंकि आपको समय मिलना चाहिए इससे. In effect, what happened? What all great things was promised, none of it was materialized, and people were demoralized. People in a पूर्ण निराश अवस्था में गए. At that time, ऐसा मैंने बताया, communism has failed as an economy, but some of the intellectuals in the Communist Party started thinking whether it can be survived as an ideology, an intellectual area. Can it be survived? Can we do something on that? They thought very seriously about it. Some of the communist thinkers like Antonio Gramsci, Foucault, all started thinking, why no revolutions happened in West? Revolution only happened in Russia, then happened in China. Actually, Karl Marx said, while he formulated his theory, he said that according to my theory, only capitalist country will be they are in a position so that like a revolution can happen there, where England, America, Germany, in all places a revolution will come. But none of those places revolution happened. None of those places. What was the reason? They started thinking. And they came to the conclusion it is all because of the strong family systems in those nations. Religious belief system, cultural mooding. These are the and traditions for follow so that they shifted the battle. Again, I am simplifying this. Niranjan has used so many complex terms. I am trying to simplify it a bit. So the battlefield was changed from the economic, political arena to cultural, educational, media, theatre area. Culture, morality, and identity. They came to the conclusion that culture is more strong. That is binding the people, and that is stopping communism from stalling communism to enter into that society. So we have to work in that. There they have started a school for this type of thought that is known as Frankfurt School. It was founded in 1920s in Germany. Max Horkheimer, Adorno, Marxist, all these great thinkers of the Communist Party, they came together and they came to this conclusion and they started research work, thinking and writing new theories on this. So, just repeating the same thing, capitalism survived because of culture, family, religion, tradition. This culture keeps people obedient. Revolution के लिए people obedient नहीं होना चाहिए. They have to revolt, agitate. So for that purpose, culture is the main culprit. It is to be destroyed. To bring revolution, dismantle culture, cultural pillars using some theories. So that theory is known as critical. And during that time, I have already mentioned about Antonio Gramsci. Antonio Gramsci is considered to be the Marx of cultural Marxism, the main person. He, in his present diary, he formulated the theory related to cultural Marxism, that is cultural hegemony, which was originally introduced by him. Cultural hegemony refers to the dominance of a particular set of cultural norms, values and beliefs that serve the interest of the ruling class. Ruling class को support करने के लिए these cultural aspects are all good. Why? Culture shapes the society. That is Gramsci's presumption. Cultural Marxism then he put forward the idea so that we have to blend the aspects of classical, some of the aspects of the cultural Marxism with the psychoanalysis and the critical theory. Freud's psychoanalysis and Gramsci's critical theory, it is to be blended to make cultural Marxism. So for that purpose, already it has been mentioned, destroy culture, destroy social order, including its beliefs, customs and customary practices, social hierarchy and power structure. Even to the extent the cultural Marxists or the people who are following this cultural Marxism or wokeism, they are not ready to respect even their fathers. I don't know whether they are respecting, they want others to disrespect the hierarchy in the family. So, for this, how it can be destroyed? For that, they create a racism. Race become a point to divide people on the basis of the identities. One of the main weapons they are using is binaries created among the people and the society. Every society will be divided into two. That dividing the society into two is a Marxian action. That is the haves and have-nots. They will revolt each other, they will strike each other, and the have-nots will win. And in the due course, these have-nots will become have. Then again, some other class will be, new class will be formed. The continuous eternal fight will go on. That is their theory, Marxian theory. Here in the new format, they started thinking and they put forward this division, binaries among the society. If a cultural Marxist is coming into this group, they will, he will think in the way that here some are black, some are white, some gore hai, some kale. This is two binaries. Gore, as per the theory, they are the submissive. Black people, naturally, they are always submissive. So they are oppressed. So that two groups are being formed, and they will stand with the oppressed, and they have started striking. That is the way in which things are going. And along with that, sexual liberation. For that purpose, Freud is being used. That I have already said. Psychoanalysis to psychoanalysis, sex is being used in that way. Lust and libido is being used, and through that erode the morality of the society. When I am speaking about these points, you can identify so many issues before you. So many issues. Recently, through this wokeism, these type of popular open expressions have also been seen in Bharat also. Recently in Delhi, in the metro, some youths gladly, dress was ज़्यादा कितना चाहिए उतना नहीं था. Some sort of illicit, illegal relationship was been publicly expressed in the metro, and one elderly person tried to enter. बाकी सब लोग भागे compartment से, with boys with the boys, boys with the girls, girls with the girls. That set of illicit relationship was been openly exposed. And when that elderly man started questioning the answer was the reaction from those youths were, this is my body, and this is my will, and this is my space. Who are you to enter into our will and space? So this type of erosion of morality through sexual liberation. That's why they have started expressing and starting some sort of festivals even. What sort of festival? Kiss festival. Streets are being renamed as streets of kiss publicly. Some years back, some of them tried to march towards Chandewala Keshav Kunj. They want to kiss inside Keshav Kunj, Sangh ke Kendra Karyalay ke andar. So this is Bharat also it was started. Attack the family as oppressive. The example I have already given how it is being. Through academic circle also these type of theories are being propagated. Undermine teachers' authority. Teachers' authority. Recently, during Guru Puja, in Kerala there was a huge protest. What was the protest? Guru Puja being celebrated in the schools, especially in the Vidyaniketan schools. Lot of protection, many protections towards the schools, try to disturb the function. Cases were being filed against the teachers. Teachers' authority is to be undermined. Replace it with these theories, indoctrination, this education field. And another area, that is mass immigration to other states, other nations. Mass immigration. So why Douglas Murray wrote a book in the name Strange Death of Europe? It was because of this endless immigration, ruthless immigration. They entered into, and they are supporting such an oppressed class. Islam is an oppressed class. Everywhere in Islam, for this cultural Islam is an oppressed class. So they can do anything, they can speak it. No one can speak anything against them. That's also a theory. On the basis of the theory only, they are arguing for them. And for that purpose, they controlling the media, culture, and spread confusion. Spread confusion. वोट चोरी भी इसमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पावर के ऊपर, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटी के ऊपर, कोर्ट के ऊपर, इलेक्शन कमीशन के ऊपर कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट करना. I'm not just creating a conspiracy theory. It is there. They are working on it. That's all going on. So there are so many theories. It is also being very well explained in this book. Feminist theory, gender and patriarchy is being questioned. Gender fluidity is being populated on this theory, on the basis. Another is CRT, critical race theory. Racism is there in the systems itself. There's another theory, post-colonial theory. Many of you who have got the opportunity to go through such books and participate in such discussion must have gone through. So, colonial oppression. इसका एक lens create किया है, colonial oppression lens. Queer theory, fluidity, gender, I have already mentioned about that. Sexuality, all these things comes under. Another is intersectionality, layered oppression. Layered oppression. See, black and white, two by one. Among black, economically backward black is being segregated. And among them, male and female is being divided. So in this way, this layered oppression is not a single simple term. There are layered oppression. That is the simplest explanation about this intersectionality. Another is cultural studies. Media are used for ideological control. Critical pedagogy. Schools are resistance of. I have quoted that particular example purposefully. I could have quoted so many examples. But I have quoted two ends of the education system. One is IIT, top level, and a school, 7th or 8th standard students. They are trying to make schools are resistance clubs. They want to resist. So all these theories, so many great thinkers, so-called thinkers are working on it. Unlimited freedom to this so-called oppressed class. Caste-wise oppressed, which refugee jati work, female may be black female. They will get unlimited freedom to what extent? There was a particular video very much in, very much became viral 2 days back. In an AC compartment, one girl was smoking. Naturally, AC compartment के अंदर smoke किया है तो क्या होगा? Someone protest किया. What was her argument? You must have heard about her argument. You are asking me to not to do this only because I am a girl. Only because I am from a backward community. So this type of unlimited freedom. See, black lives matter. Why it became a very big issue? If it would have been another colored person, it would have been a very big issue. He was a black. The policeman who is controlling him, tried to control him through his muscle power. Naturally, you have to use it. Controlling the mob, they have to use some power. But unfortunately, he was a white. So it became a very big news. Black Lives Matter. They got a very good photos. And another thing, silence rights or conservatives in name of justice. Silence karna. You cannot speak because you are Hindu. Hindus cannot speak. Why? They are part of the oppressors. Muslims are the oppressed. Backward community is the oppressed. And the so-called Hindu Sanghadak organizations are the oppressors. So you haven't got any right to speak at all. You haven't got the right to protest at all. You haven't got. That's it. So it has got predominantly, it is getting control over all systems now. So through this cancel culture, political correctness, that term is very much popular now. Political correctness. You cannot use, if a lady is a poetry writing lady, so poetress bolna, that is politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. You have to use poet. It's good. That's a good approach. In Bharatiya Bhasha, there is no Mahila related word for poet. Kavi is also Kavi. Anyway. Kavetri bolte hai usse. It has been created. Anyway, Kavetri is there. But they are saying that is politically incorrect. So, best now, that I have quoted in the beginning. He said that four steps are there, four steps to control the society and establish their power, communist power. First is demoralization. Demoralization steps mean mock religion, traditions being ridiculed, rewriting history to instill shame instead of pride of the history. And it leads to the second question, that is destabilization of the society. First, destabilizing the traditional society. Then through these steps, religion को mock करना, tradition को ridicule करना, history उस प्रकार से बनाना, and it leads to destabilization of the society. Destabilization means main societal institutions will be weakened. First, family will be weakened, law, legal, judiciary will be weakened, economic system will be weakened, and it leads to third step, that is known as crisis. Conflict, unrestness will be the rule of that situation. That is the third stage, crisis. Chaos, unrestness, distrust, everything will be created. Almost all nations are facing this third step now. Some nations have entered in the fourth step also. Thank God we haven't yet reached to that step. Fourth one is normalization. All these things become new norm. Somewhere you can feel that, yes, it is a norm. Muslims are to be saved. They are to be protected. Why? They are oppressed through ages by you. So you have the right to talk about them. Though they are doing in the smuggling business, they are doing in the population bomb creation, all these things, demographic bomb. You cannot speak against. So normalization, new ideology accepted as new norm, as interpreted, that is another danger, that is being interpreted as progress. So these are the ways in which they are. And we have to discuss where Bharat is now in this type of attack. Whether at least some indications we can see, we can identify in Bharat in this situation. Many Western nations are at this stage 3 now. Many Western nations. What is happening to Sweden? What is happening to the London City, New York City, with the help of this particular Democrat, supported by the cultural masses, now a non-Islamic fundamentalist is going to become the mayor of New York. He has already said that if Netanyahu is reaching New York, he will be arrested. Mayor has already Mamdani. He has announced it also. So, many of the Western nations are in the stage 3. Bharat being pushed through the same phases in some area. So, we can discuss all these points. I have been asked to speak for some 20-25 minutes in the beginning. And you can add on it to this if these presumptions or the conclusions are correct. If all these things are shown in, we can see, identify or feel in our society now. What are the steps to be taken to overcome this menace? That also can be discussed. First of all, you can add some points to this. Those who have read this book can